Welcome to Return on Insights, the show where candid conversations with bold founders and leaders spark actionable insights for your business. I'm David Lindover.
And I'm Erin Abbotangelo. Each week, we pull back the curtain with leaders who are scaling teams and shaping the future, sharing the insights that create impact far beyond the bottom line.
Discover how high-performing companies build enduring cultures, inspire teams to think bigger, and turn vision into action. If you see storytelling as your strategic advantage, you're in the right place. Welcome to Return on Insights podcast. I'm David Lindover. At companies like AppDirect, workplace culture is more than a buzzword. It's a competitive advantage, fueling personal growth, collaboration, and outperforming goals. In this episode, Jeffrey Moss, who's a sales leader at AppDirect, shares candid insights on creating a high-trust, results-driven environment, embracing autonomy, and coping with the relentless push of a pre-IPO tech business. Explore how employee-driven cultures can spark innovation and why real achievement is measured beyond numbers. Jeffrey, welcome to the show. I'm looking forward to having our conversation.
I appreciate it, David. Thank you for having me.
So how has AppDirect's Be Yourself approach shaped your growth and leadership style?
Yeah, so David, AppDirect's motto is it's really all about be seen, be yourself, and do your best work. And that's something, I take very seriously. And that's something I try to do in my own personal life. So on the AppDirect side, it really includes, humility, positive mental attitude, having a true north type of mentality, kind of putting that ego aside, intensity and ownership. And those are all 5 things that even before I joined AppDirect were things that I took personally and tried to strive to do. And I think that's always helped make me successful. But that's something, being yourself, it's allowed me to truly do that, not only internally with my peers, my leadership, but also the partners and customers that I support.
So what lessons did your experience as a pro poker player teach you about calculated risk-taking in sales?
Yeah, so David, for about a year, I was living out for a year while I was out in Vegas. I was supporting myself. I'd call it amateur, but I guess because I was making money from it and supporting myself, I guess that's technically professional. But what that really taught me was about managing and understanding risk in my own, in the business world, because as a professional poker player, you're managing your bankroll and it's all about managing risk, setting your limits, knowing when to walk away. And that taught me a lot, not only in the poker world, but in the business world. It's all about working with people, understanding and reading people, and managing and understanding risk. So, in the sales business, I want to lose quickly. Of course, I want to win, but more importantly, I'd rather lose quickly, get over that opportunity right away, and as opposed to dragging it out over months or weeks or sometimes years when they're never going to buy. So understanding, kind of putting yourself out there, asking for the business early into the sale, or at least knowing the sale's coming based on how you're operating the sales process. I'm able to tie that back to the risk kind of understanding I've learned playing poker kind of to support myself.
Makes sense. So can you describe a time when AppDirect's culture has made a tangible difference in you or your team's performance?
Yeah, so David, a couple of things come to mind there. On the sales side, which is where I am within AppDirect, it's very, very intense, very competitive, but we also like to have a lot of fun. So twice a year, we have a sales kickoff, and then in the middle of the year, we have a sales camp. And this is a time where AppDirect brings all their salespeople, their support team all together for training, for education, but for camaraderie, team building, trust building, relationship building. And what that allows us to do from those types of events is get to know who we're working with, because we're in the trenches together. We're putting up big numbers, and it takes a team to do that. It's not an individual type of business, even though we are graded individually. But so getting together in events like that with the broader teams, I think is, for me personally, and what I've seen from my peers, has been able to drive additional success, because it's more than just a coworker. You become family, you become friends, and working with your friends and family makes going to work a lot more enjoyable every day.
So what are the biggest challenges then and rewards of working in a pre-IPO high growth environment like AppDirect?
Yeah, so David, it's high pressure sales. We have big numbers, we have big goals, we have big quotas, but with that comes great recognition. There's great compensation involved, and for me, I always put a goal out there, especially this year. I want to get to President's Club. That's something that's a big driver, I think, not just for myself, but for all of the people internally at AppDirect and our sales partners that we work with. If we achieve certain levels, we get, all expense paid trip, first class type of situation, that it's not there to take a vacation, but you're there rubbing elbows with the best in the business, not only your peers, but the top performers across the industry, and then the leadership internally. So those things are definitely the rewards, but it's also high pressure sales. So it's all about, what did you do for me this month? The numbers reset on the first. So What you did last month doesn't matter this month. I had a great month last month. I'm starting back at 0 this month.
So are you going to make it?
I'm definitely going to make it.
Excellent.
I put it out there. I tell everybody I talk to, I'm going to President's Club.
So should I hold off publishing this until you've made it?
No, put it out there.
All right.
I'm putting it out there in the ether. I'm tracking for it. So
I'm wishing you all the luck in the world. How do you balance healthy competition with genuine team camaraderie, which you spoke about earlier, in a business driven by aggressive quotas, like you just told us? That's a tough balance.
Yeah, so what's interesting for me, David, at AppDirect, I am on a decent sized team. I think we're about 15, but we all have different specialties. So although we're all competing because we wanted to do the best, put up the top numbers, I'm not directly competing with my peers. We're actually complementing one another. And I'm in a role where I'm supporting a broad base of channel managers, account managers, advisors, selling partners. So for me, I'd love to see everybody win. Of course, I want to win. I want to be at the top, but I also want to see all my peers and those that I support and throughout the company also be successful, which is not always the case in a high pressure sales type of environment. Oftentimes people will jump over you to do good for themselves. And I don't see that happening here, which is, speaks to the culture that we have here.
Yeah, that's powerful. So in your view, what's the secret to preventing burnout in an always-on, quota-driven role like yours?
Yeah, that's a tough one, David, because in our business, the business never stops. It's a 24/7 type of operation. You have customers, you have partners that they don't care what time of day it is. They need it. They need it now. They need you to respond. So that's what I do during when I'm working, or around the clock. But just as importantly is taking that time to yourself, taking that PTO, and doing stuff that's fun for you and your family so you can recharge. I had a sales leader, and it's still my boss now, taught me many years ago not to be the sponge. And, I had no idea what he meant by that. But when I say don't be the sponge, and I live by this now, I tell a lot of people about this, is the sponge, think of that as all the work. You're going to absorb all that work, and then you do all the work, you squeeze that sponge out, but that sponge is going to absorb more work. So keep that in mind, be mindful, put the work down because it's going to be there in the morning. So you have to understand when to kind of draw the lines and stop working. We probably never really do, but to at least step away and take some time for yourself. Otherwise, the burnout is real. It's happened to me before, and it's tough to overcome.
Very tough. I've experienced it myself. So how do recognition and transparency factor into cultivating trust and motivation across distributed teams like the one you're on?
Yeah, so I think I speak for myself, but for many people out there, if not all people, everybody likes to be recognized. When they do a good job, when they're doing well, they want to be recognized, especially amongst their peers. Recognition amongst your peers is what I think is the most valuable out there, especially when my peers recognize the good job I'm doing or vice versa. And then leadership, of course, as well. You always like to be recognized there. At AppDirect, we do that quite a bit. We recognize the top performers, the people that are doing well, the people that, are improving. So it's not just about crushing a quota or being the top performer, but seeing the results, putting in the work, and getting and growing is also recognized as well.
Final question, and, it's a good one. What advice do you have for leaders looking to create a resilient, authentic culture during rapid growth or transition?
Yeah, so Dave, Yeah, it is tough to do, but allow your people, allow your team to be themselves. You hired them. You hired them to do a job. Let them do the job. If you didn't think they were capable, you wouldn't hire them. So thankfully, I've worked in an environment that strongly believes that. It's not a micromanagement type of environment. So let your people be themselves. If they're true professionals, they're going to come to you when they need help, when they need support, when they need guidance, but also provide guidance from above and from afar and close, but also don't manage each person the same. Each person's different. We have different goals, different things that drive us, and get to know your people. Your people will appreciate that. You'll see that in the results and the effort that they put forth, and you create a winning culture that way.
Sage advice. Thanks so much, Jeffrey. You've shared a lot of insights. I wish you the best. Hopefully you're at the President's Club soon enough, and
I'll be there.
You get to enjoy the fruits of your labor.